Okay, let me show you how I turned this cardboard into this fun little mask. But first, let's head over to the table and talk a little bit. Hey guys, welcome to a new video. So it is Tuesday and I'm finally sitting in my studio. According to my new routine, Tuesdays, Wednesdays are days that I can be in the studio and work on art. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing today. I have some loose ends that I want to finish. Like I want to paint Franz. He's already covered in dried paper mache. And now I just need to prime him and paint him. I also have some more cardboard on my other workstation that I want to create some cardboard masks. That's one of the activities that we'll be doing during the Toussaint Créative. And I also need to do some artwork like on a huge canvas that I have right behind you. And then some example artwork for workshops and classes that I have to do. So I'm not quite sure which one I want to do first. I'll probably prime this guy first since I really want to see him painted. I can't wait. It was so much fun creating him. I first created like a cardboard base. I took a class from Domestika. I think it's called like Cardboard Sculpture for Beginners or something like that. And I really had an amazing time. Ever since I started making paper mache with the troll guy for the game, I have been loving it and I've been wanting to come up with new ideas. And I think he's just awesome. My little character, just a little face. Probably gonna hang him in like a frame or something or just have him on the door. I'm not sure where he's gonna go, but this was just like on a whim. I wanted to try out making a cardboard structure. And then I wanted to cover it with paper mache so I could paint it nicely. So I think I'm going to start with that. And then I'm going to continue on with the cardboard masks. And so why don't you guys keep me company? All right. So as always, this desk is always very messy. It's like my table where I just throw things on. Hold on. Okay. Just need to make sure that my mic was on. Okay, so time to prime this guy. Before I start priming it, let me show you guys. So here's cardboard that I've been saving just from like pretty much anything. Like here's yogurt, another yogurt, because this is nice soft cardboard that can really be moldable. This is a bit harder. It's just from some box. More cardboard. And then this one is a heavy duty cardboard as well. And I thought maybe I could do the base with for the mask. Then I use a glue gun because that is the best glue for cardboard, at least that I've found. So this is really great cardboard. And then I have some other cardboard that I've been saving with like, just Amazon boxes and things like that. All right, so let's just prime this guy. I'm using some very cheap gesso. This is from Action. That's all I do. Just pour it on there with my brush. I need to grab some water and I'll start priming. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a podcast on and start. Let me look for a good podcast. Right now, well, my go-to podcasts are My Favorite Murder, The Opportunist, Radio Rental is pretty good. And there's this one called Scamanda that was recommended. But I was going to give it a shot. This is what it looks like. Scamanda. And I thought, why not? Let's give it a try. So I wasn't very sure what I wanted to create for this cardboard mask. I grabbed a piece of paper and I started sketching. First, I thought maybe something more spooky, like Halloween related, like a skull. But then I wasn't very sure. I mean, I created the sketch of like a rudimentary cartoon shaped skull. But even as I was drawing it, I wasn't very certain of which direction to go. I tend to, when I'm trying things out, just go for it, full throttle, cut up. It's not always the best way to approach things. It sometimes and tends to be. The better way is to plan things out, do sketches, measure things, but who has the time for that? So I decided to, after creating this horrible sketch, to chuck it and go with something else. I then decided that I wanted to make something that was more bird-like, owl-like, maybe something with horns, with maybe like droopy ears. That was the general idea. And I really didn't want to use that much cardboard. I did not want it to be completely three-dimensional. I knew that the beak had to be three-dimensional, but everything else was going to be flat. Because in the workshop, when we're doing this, there's only going to be like a 2-hour time span between planning and then creating it. So I didn't want it to be too complex. I wanted people to be able to leave the workshop with a mask already made. So I grabbed a whole bunch of cardboard that I have stored. I like to keep cereal boxes, Amazon boxes, just cardboard, whatever type of cardboard. But I didn't want it to be too thick. I wanted it to be some pieces to be nice and moldable, and then others that were sturdier that I could really glue things on. Now it was time to sketch out what I wanted to cut on the cardboard. I love using colored pencils to draw with instead of graphite because it doesn't really smudge. So I grabbed my favorite pencil and I created this like oval shape for the face. I wanted to be big enough to wear on me. However, I'm not going to be wearing this mask. This is just a decorative mask for you to hang on the wall. And as you can see, it's a thicker cardboard. That's the base that I'm using. I did not want the base to be a thin, like cereal box cardboard. This was more of a heavy duty cardboard. I didn't really mind that there were scruffs on it and dents because I actually like the look of that. I'm okay. It doesn't need to be this pristine cardboard with anything. No, I like the texture of it. So I cut it out. Later on, I modified the shape a little bit, but now I have the base shape, and with the base shape, I can now decide how big I want the eyes, where am I going to put the beak. I'm a visual person, so I need to see things in real life. So I actually used an indent, a bend that already existed in the cardboard for the beak, so it was already created for me, and from there, it was very easy to create a symmetrical shape. I had to adjust it because I had created a curve on the sides and realized I did not need a curve. If anything, I needed, as you can see there, those curves I adjusted later. I needed to, in addition, have little tabs on the inside and glue them all together. So once I got into creating all the shapes, I like entered the groove, you could say. I was feeling it. I found my muse, whatever you want to call it, but I was in it, and I then knew exactly how I wanted it to look, what elements I needed, and it just flowed, and it was just a lot of fun. This exercise was mainly to explore what can I create with very simple shapes, and creating a model so that people can see it when they enroll for the activity, when they're here, so that they get an idea of what they can do. And it was just a lot of fun. I thought first I was going to make like 3D horns, but when I was thinking about the time frame of the workshop, I thought, I don't know if it's really going to work out, especially if kids come. Like with adults, sure, a lot of cutting and using the X-Acto knife, bisturi, whatever you want to call it, is not a problem. But for kids, I don't want it to be overly complex. I will show them a type of horn that you can create, which I didn't create here in this setting, but I will create in a different time. And so I was just looking at the different shapes for the eyes, how to place them if I wanted them to go up or down. And I decided to paint it with my art graph pigment blocks, the Taylor blocks, or Taylor squares, I think they're called, because I didn't want it to be completely opaque. I still wanted that nice warm brown to come out. So I wanted it to look old, and yeah, I didn't want it to be bright and vibrant. I wanted to have more of like autumn feel and colors. So that's why I thought these were perfect, because the cardboard completely absorbs the water and leaves only a tint of the pigment that is used. And so I think it turned out nicely. I mean, of course, it'll be more, I don't know what the word would be. Of course, if you use acrylics, which are completely opaque, it'll give a different feel. But I don't know, I liked it. I really did. I'm thinking of creating another one with acrylics to show like the different type of paint that you can use to paint them. You can, of course, prime these. You can already paint the cardboard before you cut out the pieces. That's what I did later for the feathers that you'll be seeing, which I thought was really cool, because I just put like blotches of colors and then dots in a different color. And I really liked the surprising effect that you get when you're just cutting out the feathers. You don't know exactly what color you're going to be getting. You get a nice mixture, and it looks more natural than if you had painstakingly painted each individual feather. This, I thought, was a better way of doing it. And even here, as you can see, luckily, since I'm using the glue gun, you can take it back off. Like I had glued on the horns thinking I was going to do a 3D horn, and then I decided, nope, I don't like it. You can still see how the glue removed a little bit of the pigment since it wasn't completely dry when I glued it on, but not a big deal. That's why I was creating the feathers. I wanted to give it a bit more complexity, and the feathers was exactly what it needed. It was a lot of fun. And depending on the cardboard that you use, the paint will react differently. Some of it will just like kind of sit, others will completely absorb it. And as I was saying with the feathers, this is the area that I chose. It was just like a mismatched shape. I didn't want to waste it, and I thought it was perfect to cut out small feathers. This is another mismatched yogurt container. And I just put down the colors. I really didn't care. I was just putting down some colors, letting it dry, and then adding some more effects to it. Like here with the horns, I'm adding some little dots and circles. I love little dots and circles. It's like one of my go-to patterns. And so yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this activity. I will be creating more cardboard masks and figures. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So now I'm just going to leave you with just a little bit of music and letting you guys watch how I finish this mask. Come back next week or next time I upload, because I have several things waiting to be uploaded. And yeah, have a great day.